The Treasury Department. The Treasury Department in the United Kingdom is one of the most important and key departments of the government. The Treasury Department in the United Kingdom is based in Whitehall in central London. The Treasury Department is responsible for delivering the budget to the nation. There have been key individuals that have gone on to be effective chancellors of the Exchequer. The first chancellor of the Exchequer was back in 1721, and his name was Sir Robert Walpole. And after that, there's been various individuals from both the Conservative Party and Labour Party that have gone on to be effective chancellors. Some more effective and influential than others. We had Nigel Lawson back in 1983. Nigel Lawson was the Chancellor of the Exchequer from 1983 to 1989 under the premiership and leadership of the Conservative leader Margaret Thatcher. Nigel Lawson was a great exponent of free market under the Margaret Thatcher premiership. So he was a great exponent. And then we had Lamont. He was Chancellor from 1990 to 1993 under the premiership and leadership of the Conservative leader John Major. We had Chancellor Gordon Brown, and Gordon Brown was another effective, influential Chancellor of the Exchequer. He was Chancellor of the Exchequer under the leadership and premiership of the Labour leader Tony Blair. We had Alistair Darling, who was the Chancellor under the premiership of Gordon Brown. So when Gordon Brown was leader of the Labour Party and Prime Minister, Alistair Darling was his Chancellor. We had Chancellor George Osborne. George Osborne was Chancellor from 2010 to 2016, and he was the Chancellor under the leadership and premiership of David Cameron. We had Chancellor of the Exchequer, Sajid Javid. He was a pretty cautious and effective Chancellor. He was Chancellor under the premiership of Theresa May. And he also carried on as Chancellor when Boris Johnson became the leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister. And then when Sajid Javid resigned as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, we had Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak became the new Chancellor of the Exchequer, and he had a tough job on his hands because during that time we were in lockdown, and during the lockdown period due to COVID-19, he had a tough job on his hands. He had to find out ways how he could keep the economy and businesses who were suffering through the COVID, he had to find an idea of funding them. So he came up with this scheme to help to eat out. And he also came up with the furlough scheme, where he gave payments also to struggling businesses that were struggling during the COVID period. So that was Rishi Sunak's achievement, along with Boris Johnson, where they came up with the help to eat out scheme for restaurants that were struggling, and also the furlough payment scheme. And as we know, when Rishi Sunak resigned as the Chancellor, he went on to become the UK's next Prime Minister, and that was after Liz Truss. When Liz Truss resigned, Rishi Sunak took over to become the Prime Minister, and then under Liz Truss, we had the short is ever Chancellor of the Exchequer, and that was Kwasi Kwarteng. It was very, very sad it did not, work for him. And again, he had a very, very tough job on his hands, Kwasi Kwarteng, with the cost of living crisis and the ongoing war in Ukraine. It was very, very tough for Kwasi Kwarteng. And as a result, his mini budget caused shockwaves and panic, particularly with the Bank of England and other financial institutions. And as a result, he had to resign as Chancellor of the Exchequer. And after him, we had Jeremy Hunt. Jeremy Hunt came in as the next Chancellor of the Exchequer. And Rishi Sunak was obviously, or had become Prime Minister. And Jeremy Hunt somehow managed to settle things and to bring back some form of confidence within the markets. So Jeremy Hunt is currently the new Chancellor of the Exchequer. I hope you've enjoyed this video of me reciting and giving a brief history of the various chancellors that we've had in the United Kingdom. As I said, some chancellors were more effective than others, and it was because of a number of various situations that they faced, and that was at their disposal. So as I said, some chancellors were more effective than others, but overall they both tried as much as possible to do a very important and effective job while they were chancellors. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you found this video very, very useful and inspiring. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button, and feel free to follow me on YouTube. This is David Olawale Ayinde.